Hello everyone, welcome back to Tech Curiosity Stream, your go-to spot for diving deep into the tech that shapes our world. I'm really glad you're here today because we're about to tackle a topic you hear about all the time, but maybe don't fully understand. It's one of those terms that gets thrown around in meetings, in tech news, and on social media, but what does it actually mean for you? Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you're new here or haven't done it yet, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to ring the notification bell next to it. That way, you won't miss out when we drop new videos exploring the fascinating corners of technology. It really helps the channel a lot, and it ensures you stay in the loop. So let's set the stage. You probably use a dozen different apps every single day. You check your email, you stream your favorite shows, you collaborate on documents with your team, and you manage your personal projects. Have you ever stopped to think about how all this software just works? You don't install a massive program from a CD anymore, right? It's all just there, ready to go, on your phone, your laptop, your tablet, anywhere you have an internet connection. This seamless, always-on, always updated experience is not magic, even though it sometimes feels like it. It's the result of a massive shift in how we build, sell, and use software. And at the heart of that revolution is a simple four-letter acronym, SaaS. This concept, software as a service, has completely transformed the tech landscape. It's the engine behind some of the biggest companies on the planet. Think about it. From the tools you use for work to the platforms you use for entertainment, SaaS is quietly powering a huge chunk of your digital life. But it's more than just a buzzword for Silicon Valley startups. It represents a fundamental change in our relationship with technology. We've moved from owning physical copies of software to essentially renting access to powerful tools over the internet. This shift has massive implications for everyone, from individual users like you and me to the largest corporations in the world. It's a story worth telling. In today's video, we're going to pull back the curtain on this exact topic. We're going on a journey to demystify SaaS completely. No confusing jargon, no overly technical explanations, just a straightforward, clear guide to what it is, how it came to be, and why it matters so much in 2025. So, what's the big secret? Why dedicate a whole video to this? Well, because understanding SaaS is like getting a key to understanding the modern digital economy. It's not just for developers or CEOs. It impacts your wallet, your data, and your daily convenience. You've probably heard of companies like Netflix, Spotify, or Adobe Creative Cloud. Guess what? They are all prime examples of SaaS. You pay a monthly or yearly fee, and in return, you get access to a massive library of content or a powerful suite of tools. You don't own the software itself, but you have the right to use it as long as you're subscribed. It's a simple idea on the surface, but the mechanics behind it are fascinating. This model is a huge departure from the old way of doing things. Not too long ago, buying software meant a trip to a store to buy a box with a disk inside. You'd pay a hefty one-time fee, sometimes hundreds of dollars, for a specific version of that program. When a new version came out a year or two later, you'd have to decide whether to pay all over again to upgrade. It was expensive, inconvenient, and your software would quickly become outdated if you didn't keep buying the latest release. All right, let's get right to the heart of it. What exactly is SaaS? The acronym stands for Software as a Service. Think of it like this. In the past, software was a product you bought. You owned a copy, just like you'd own a book or a DVD. SaaS, on the other hand, treats software like a service you subscribe to, similar to your Netflix or gym membership. Instead of installing a program directly onto your computer from a disk, you access it over the internet through a web browser or a dedicated app. All the heavy lifting, the actual processing, and the data storage happens on powerful computers or servers owned by the company providing the service. These servers are what people commonly refer to as the cloud. This is a fundamental change in how we interact with our digital tools. The software doesn't live on your device anymore. It lives online. This is why you can log into your Google Docs account from your laptop at home, then pick up right where you left off on a computer at the library, and then make a quick edit on your phone while waiting for a coffee. The software and your files aren't tied to a single machine. They are centrally located in the cloud, and you're just accessing them from wherever you are. All you need is an internet connection and your login details. Now let's really contrast this with the old model to see why the shift to SaaS was so revolutionary. Imagine buying a car. The traditional software model is like buying the car outright. You pay a large sum of money up front, and it's yours. But you are also responsible for everything: the insurance, the gas, the oil changes, and any repairs. If a newer, better model comes out next year with amazing new features, you are stuck with your old one unless you want to go through the expensive process of buying a whole new car. SaaS, in this analogy, is more like using a ride-sharing service or a long-term car subscription. You don't own the car. You just pay a regular fee to have access to a car whenever you need one. You don't worry about the maintenance, the insurance, or even the cleaning. The company takes care of all of that. Plus, the fleet of cars is constantly being updated, so you always get to ride in a new, modern vehicle with the latest features. This is the core value proposition of SaaS. You pay a predictable monthly or annual fee, and in return, you get continuous access to the latest, greatest, fully maintained version of the software, without any of the headaches of ownership. This model completely changes the relationship between the software company and the user. In the old world, the company's goal was to sell you that one-time license. After they made the sale, their main interest was getting you to buy the next big upgrade a few years down the line. So where did this whole SaaS idea even come from? It might feel like a very modern concept, born from the age of smartphones and constant connectivity, but its roots go way, way back. We're talking back to the 1960s, long before the internet as we know it even existed. In those days, computers were not personal devices you could have on your desk. They were gigantic, room-sized machines called mainframes. These things were incredibly expensive, costing millions of dollars, and they were owned by massive corporations, universities, and government agencies. They were the original supercomputers, and access to them was extremely limited and highly valuable. Because these mainframe computers were so powerful and so costly, it didn't make sense for only one person or one department to use them. The owners needed to get the most value out of their massive investment, so they developed a system called time-sharing. This allowed multiple users to connect to the central mainframe at the same time using dumb terminals, which were basically just a screen and a keyboard with no real processing power of their own. Each user could run their own programs and access their own data on the powerful central computer, effectively sharing its resources. This, right here, is the earliest ancestor of SaaS. It was a centralized computing model where users accessed a shared resource from a remote location. This time-sharing model was a game changer. Now, let's fast forward a few decades. We're jumping from the era of mainframes to the 1990s. This was when the internet started to explode into the public consciousness. Personal computers were becoming common in homes and offices, and the World Wide Web was connecting everyone in a way that was previously unimaginable. This widespread internet access was the critical ingredient that had been missing. This period, known as the dot-com boom, was a time of wild experimentation and innovation. One of the most famous and influential pioneers of this era was Salesforce. In 1999, Salesforce launched with a bold and radical idea. They wanted to provide a sophisticated customer relationship management, or CRM, application entirely through a simple website. Their slogan was "No software." It was a direct attack on the traditional model of buying and installing software from a box. Salesforce's success proved that the SaaS model was not just a niche idea, but a powerful business strategy. They showed the world that you could build a successful, scalable company by charging a monthly subscription fee for access to a powerful application through the cloud. This inspired a wave of other companies to follow suit. From that point on, the momentum just kept building. As internet speeds got faster, as web browsers became more capable, and as cloud infrastructure became available and affordable, the floodgates opened. So we've talked about how SaaS feels from the user's perspective. You just log in and it works. But what is actually happening behind the scenes to make that seamless experience possible? The magic really lies in something called the cloud architecture. When you use a SaaS application, you're not connecting to a single computer in some office basement. You're tapping into a massive, distributed network of powerful servers, storage systems, and databases that are all working together. These servers are housed in highly secure, climate-controlled data centers located all around the world. Companies like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform are the giants that provide this underlying infrastructure. Think of this architecture as having multiple layers. At the very bottom, you have the physical hardware, the servers, the hard drives, the networking gear. On top of that, you have a virtualization layer. This is a key piece of technology that allows one massive physical server to be sliced up into many smaller independent virtual servers. This is what makes the cloud so efficient and scalable. A crucial concept here is something called multi-tenancy. It's like living in an apartment building. Everyone shares the same building structure, plumbing, and electricity, but each person has their own private locked apartment. Now let's talk about the money and the connection. The engine that drives the entire SaaS business world is the subscription model. As we've touched on, instead of a big one-time purchase, you pay a recurring fee, usually monthly or annually. This creates a steady, predictable stream of revenue for the software company. This financial stability allows them to invest long-term in their product. They can afford to have large teams of developers who are constantly working on fixing bugs, strengthening security, and building new features. The subscription fee you pay isn't just for access, it's for the continuous improvement of the service. You are funding the ongoing evolution of the tool you use. This recurring payment is handled through secure online payment gateways. This constant connection is also the pipeline for one of the biggest advantages of SaaS automatic updates. With SaaS, updates are pushed out from the central cloud servers to every single user at the same time. You don't have to do a thing. One day you log in and there's a new button, a redesigned menu, or a powerful new feature that wasn't there yesterday. This ensures that the software is never out of date and that security vulnerabilities can be patched immediately across the entire user base. Finally, this constant connection enables a powerful feedback loop between you and the developers. SaaS companies can gather anonymous data on how people are actually using their products, making it a collaborative and ever-improving experience. So we've covered what SaaS is, where it came from, and how the tech works. But the real question is, why should you care? What's in it for you, the person actually using these apps every day? The benefits are huge, and they all really boil down to one central theme: convenience. First and foremost is the incredible accessibility. With SaaS, your software and your data are no longer trapped on a single computer. You can start writing a report on your work desktop, review it on your tablet during your commute, and make final edits on your laptop at home. The next massive benefit is the cost, or more specifically, the lower barrier to entry. Think about professional-grade software for video editing or graphic design. A few years ago, buying a perpetual license would set you back hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. The SaaS subscription model completely changes this. For a relatively small monthly fee, you get access to the exact same powerful industry-standard tools. This democratization of software has been a game-changer, leveling the playing field. Then there's the beautiful hands-off experience of maintenance and updates. You never have to worry about manually downloading and installing updates ever again. You are always, automatically, running the latest and greatest version of the software. Finally, let's talk about data safety. While storing your data in the cloud might feel scary to some, for the average user, it's often far more secure than keeping it on your personal computer. With SaaS, your data is stored in highly secure, professionally managed data centers with multiple layers of redundancy. The benefits of SaaS aren't just for individual users. They are equally, if not more, transformative for businesses and the software creators themselves. For businesses, especially small to medium-sized ones, SaaS is a massive advantage. It dramatically lowers the initial cost of getting started. Instead of spending a huge chunk of capital on expensive software licenses and powerful on-site servers, a new company can subscribe to all the tools it needs for a predictable monthly operational expense. This shift makes it much easier to manage cash flow and budget effectively. Scalability is another huge win for businesses. With SaaS, scaling up or down is as simple as changing your subscription plan. Hired 10 new people? Just add 10 more seats to your account, and they can be up and running in minutes. Now, let's flip the coin and look at it from the perspective of the software creators and developers. The SaaS model is a dream come true. Instead of unpredictable revenue from one-time sales cycles, they get a steady, predictable stream of recurring revenue from subscriptions. This financial stability is gold. It allows them to plan for the long term, hire more developers, and invest confidently in research and development to improve their product. They aren't constantly chasing the next big sale. They're focused on building a better service. Finally, the SaaS model allows developers to have a much closer relationship with their customers. They can gather valuable data on how their application is being used and deploy updates instantly, creating a tight feedback loop where developers can respond to customer needs faster than ever before. Alright, so we've been talking a lot about the theory behind SaaS, but let's bring it into the real world. The truth is, you are already a heavy SaaS user, even if you've never used that term before. It has woven itself so deeply into the fabric of our digital lives that we often don't even notice it's there. Let's start with entertainment. Do you use Netflix, Hulu, or Disney Plus to watch movies and shows? Or maybe Spotify or Apple Music to stream your favorite tunes? Every single one of these is a classic example of software as a service. Now think about your personal productivity and data. Do you use Google Drive, Dropbox, or Microsoft OneDrive to store and share your files? That's SaaS. Instead of keeping all your photos, documents, and videos on a single physical hard drive, you're using a cloud storage service. The same goes for email. If you use Gmail, Outlook.com, or Yahoo Mail, you're using a SaaS email client. The software that runs your inbox and stores all your messages lives on their servers, not your computer. Let's move on to creativity and social media. Have you ever used a tool like Canva to quickly design a social media post or a birthday invitation? That's a powerful graphic design suite delivered entirely through your web browser, pure SaaS. And what about the very platforms where you share those creations? While we don't pay for them with money, social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and X operate on a very similar centralized cloud-based model where your data and attention are the currency. The impact of SaaS is just as profound, if not more so, in the professional world. It has completely revolutionized how businesses of all sizes operate. The most obvious example is customer relationship management, or CRM, software. Salesforce is the giant in this space. Then there's the entire suite of collaboration and productivity tools that have become the backbone of the modern workplace. Think about the Google Workspace Suite, or Microsoft 365, with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint online. These are quintessential SaaS products. Communication within companies has also been transformed. The days of endless internal email chains are slowly being replaced by dedicated communication platforms. The most famous example here is Slack, along with video conferencing platforms like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Finally, nearly every specialized business function now has a dominant SaaS solution. For project management, you have platforms like Asana, Trello, or Jira. For accounting, there's QuickBooks Online or Xero. Even human resources departments rely on SaaS platforms like Workday or Bamboo HR. The rise of SaaS hasn't just given us new tools, it has fundamentally re-engineered the very concept of work itself. The most profound impact has undoubtedly been the enabling of the remote work revolution. Just a decade or two ago, the idea of a majority of office workers doing their jobs from home was a logistical fantasy. The critical barrier was access. SaaS completely demolished that barrier by moving the entire office into the cloud. This new flexibility has had a massive ripple effect. For companies, it has opened up a global talent pool. They can now hire the best person for the job, regardless of whether they live in the next town or on the other side of the world. For employees, it offers an unprecedented level of flexibility and work-life balance. It eliminates long, stressful commutes, giving people more time for family, hobbies, and personal well-being. SaaS provided the infrastructure for a more human-centric approach to work. Beyond the world of work, SaaS has subtly but significantly altered our daily lives and our relationship with technology and ownership. We are now living in what many call the subscription economy. the mindset has shifted from owning physical or digital products to paying for continuous access to services. You subscribe to your entertainment, your music, your cloud storage, your creative tools, and even things like meal kits and fitness apps. This has a huge psychological impact. In the past, your collection of books, CDs, or DVDs was a physical manifestation of your identity. Now, our identities are increasingly tied to the services we subscribe to and the digital profiles we curate within them. This shift also has major implications for our personal data and digital footprint. With SaaS, a huge amount of your personal and professional life is stored on servers owned by a handful of large tech corporations, raising important questions about privacy and data ownership. So, there you have it. We've journeyed from the mainframe time-sharing systems of the 1960s to the cloud-powered applications that define our lives in 2024. We've seen how software as a service is so much more than just a tech buzzword. It's a fundamental revolution that has reshaped how we create, work, play, and connect with one another. It's the invisible engine powering the remote work revolution, the subscription economy, and the incredible accessibility of powerful tools that were once out of reach for most of us. The key takeaway from all of this is that the shift from ownership to access is complete. We've moved from buying a product in a box to subscribing to an ever-evolving service. This has brought immense benefits, lower costs, greater flexibility, automatic updates, and the ability to access our digital lives from anywhere on any device. It has leveled the playing field for small businesses and individual creators, sparking a wave of innovation and entrepreneurship around the globe. It has given us convenience and power that would have seemed like science fiction just a couple of decades ago. As we look to the future, the influence of SaaS is only set to grow. We're seeing it merge with other powerful technologies like artificial intelligence, creating seamless workflows across your personal and professional life. Understanding this model is no longer optional, it's essential digital literacy. It helps you make better choices as a consumer, a more effective employee, and a more informed citizen in a world increasingly built on cloud-based services. You are now equipped with the knowledge to see the world through this new lens. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive. I hope this journey has demystified the world of SaaS for you and sparked your curiosity even further. If you found this video helpful and want to continue exploring the tech that shapes our world, please make sure you've hit that subscribe button and turned on notifications. Your support means the world and helps us keep making content like this. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Until then, stay curious.